Now, the Somali government says it's killed more than 130 fighters from the Islamist militant group Al-Shabaab, including top commanders. It says a joint operation was carried out with Somalia's international partners, who include the U.S. military. Now, this offensive started 6 months ago in August last year, when President Hassan Sheikh Mahmoud took office and declared a total war against the Islamist militants in the country. Well, let's bring in our BBC Monitoring's Africa security analyst, Beverly Ocheng, who's been following developments for us. Beverly, is Al-Shabaab on the back foot, as the government is now claiming?
Well, these operations in some way have put Al-Shabaab on the back foot. On the ground, it has lost key strongholds, vast areas in the south and the central region, including the port town of Haradere, which had been its stronghold for about 15 years. And the army has claimed since August killing more than 2,500 militants. Financially, more than 200 bank accounts associated with Al-Shabaab have been closed down, and businesses in Mogadishu have been barred from carrying out any financial transactions on behalf of Shabaab. And ideologically, the government is fighting Al-Shabaab propaganda by putting clerics and local leaders at the forefront of this robust social campaign. But Al-Shabaab is still showing quite a bit of defiance. In January alone, we've seen that they have claimed about 180 attacks in Somalia, some in Kenya. And just this weekend, the spokesperson said in a video that Al-Shabaab will be fighting against the government as well as its allies, who are both local and international.
And Beverly, I'm just wondering how much is known about the exact nature of this. They call it international partners or in this operation.
Well, one key player is the US, which has been training Al-Shabaab, which has been training Somali forces against Al-Shabaab. There's a special contingent known as Dadaab, which means lightning, that has benefited from from US support. And the US is also carrying out airstrikes against Shabaab militants in the central and south, as well as against Islamic State fighters. We did see that a key leader of IS was killed earlier last week. It also has forces on the ground. The US, they sent 600 troops in 2020. But there are also other partners. There is Turkey, which has been training Somali forces, and the African Union mission, whose forces are across Somalia as well as in Mogadishu.
I'm wondering, Beverly, because there have been very many reports of government successes against the Islamist group Al-Shabaab, but we hardly ever hear of any casualties on the government side. Is this a surprise?
I mean, the government is not very much open on its casualties, but it does not hide them. If anything, they have acknowledged some deaths of senior army officials, particularly in attacks by the militants. There were tributes last week, or about 2 weeks ago, from government officials and state media when a deputy commander from the Galguduud region was killed in a very lethal Al-Shabaab attack. But of course, state media and government narratives focus on the bravery of the army, the positive side of the operations, and they also use those targeted killings to be able to further vilify Al-Shabaab.
Beverly, we know that in any conflict situation, people suffer, women and children suffer. I wonder how people are coping in Somalia at the moment with all this fighting that's going on.
I mean, one thing is that there is a sense of public unity, the key religious and local leaders who are unifying behind the government against the cause. There is the sort of uprising in the central and southern regions. These are drought-hit regions that have suffered from Al-Shabaab incursions and occupation. But there's also this awareness of the constant danger. We've seen attacks in Mogadishu last year as well as this year. And in addition, this drought is in areas that are highly insecure. So people are still out of reach of aid. And there have been warnings of possible famine in places which are Al-Shabaab hit.
All right. Beverly Ocheng for us there in Nairobi. Thank you.